We're going live. We're not live yet. Okay, we are
Oh,
live now.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's a beautiful day here in the city of Port Harcourt. Even though it had rained this morning, I don't know if it rained where you are. Eyo, I don't know whether it rained where you are, but it's a beautiful day here in the city of Port Harcourt. And I'm glad to be having today. I'm having a lot of conversations, about six conversations today with different individuals, all with the objective of making people to get transformed, making people get inspired, making people become more strategic with their lives. And at this point today, this morning, my first conversation this morning is with Eyo Uduak. I hope I'm able to pronounce it. I'm pronouncing it correctly. So um, it's a very beautiful day, and I'm glad that I'm starting my conversation with a very beautiful woman. You can see her face, you can see how she's smiling, you can see her teeth. Very nice, beautiful lady. Okay, so if you are joining us now, please let's do know where you are joining us from. Let's know your city. Let's know your name. Okay, so I'm seeing Dorcas. Dorcas is from the city of Lagos. All right, so let's know where you are tuning in from. Okay, so we can say hello to you. Stanley McLaurin. Yeah, very beautiful set of teeth. Absolutely. She's got amazing set of teeth. I mean, all right. So let's know where you are tuning in from, guys. Where you're tuning in, and please, as usual, when you join live conversations like this, please share this live session. All right, where you're tuning in from, LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube. Just touch the share. There's a share button just beneath the screen, and you can help us reach as many individuals as possible. I'm seeing Shalani Mashawan, my guy, all the way from Lagos, one of Lagos' greatest photographers here with us. Thank you, Shalani Mashawan, for joining us. All right, please, let's see your name in the comment section. Let's know your city. Ngozi Blessing from Lagos. Fantastic. Welcome, Ngozi. Good to have you on this live stream. Okay, so, Ayo, we go into it. As I ask you this question, then you can go ahead to describe yourself. I have known you before now. I remember when you were doing a campaign about how a woman can go get a man back. I mean, I love that's what I saved your name as. If you want to see it, this is what I saved your name as. You can see it. Uduak Eyo, go get your man back on my phone. All right. And so I loved what you were doing at that time. Remember, we had some, it's been a while, I think more than 2 years now. We've had that conversation. So today you're doing something different. And I want people to learn from your transition or your evolution. Share a little bit about with us, your name, what you're doing, and tell us a little bit about that. Go get your man back, and then as we segue into what you're doing today regarding habits and success success and intentional living. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Like, this is so real, and I am so grateful to be here. And yes, pardon me. I'm still trying to get used to the fact that I am right here having this conversation with the Don, Emeka Novice. So before I get started about myself and what I do, I'd like to state that early this year I had made a vision note. Think of a vision note as your vision board, except that it is on a note, right? So I had pasted like pictures of some people that are some coaches, leaders that love to collaborate with. And right where, like, I created wild margins, like empty spaces for people that I'll attract. Like, I did not post them, and I wanted to know if just by going, thinking about them and thinking about collaborating with them would cause our path to cross, and happen that I get to collaborate. And for me, this is like amazing to be here today, because the Don is someone that I have admired from a distance, right? All of us have that typical habit of liking someone but not necessarily engage that person, right? So the Don is one of such people. And if he goes to his messenger, he would see a conversation I was having with a friend about him. And she was like, "Oh, really? Okay, I'll check him out." I never knew that. No, he's like this, like that. So what am I saying is that this is, for me, this is a miracle to be here having this conversation. And I am Eyo Uduak blessing. And I believe that miracles do happen, but it is up to us to create our miracles. I strongly believe that we can get the things we desire if we will put our hearts to it and learn how to manifest the things that we want. So yes, I am an intentional individual. Like I am intentional. I know what I want. I know how I want it. I specifically, would know the details of the things that I want. And over the years, because of journaling, I'm able to go back to my notes and see, like, whoa, I had said this, I had said I'll do this, and look at it, right? And so today, today I am so excited to talk to you about what I do, like invite you into my world, into my philosophies and how I live. And I am literally a full-time mom. That is my full-time job, just being a mom. And that's because I grew up watching my mom sick. And for the most, you have a mom that is alive, but you feel like you do not have a mom. My mom is late now, and it took her passing for me to really, grasp the vacuum that had been created over the years. So when she died, yes, the hope, to one day have a mom that I could gist with, have a mom that I could, just talk about life with. I remember being pregnant and I could not even get to have a decent conversation with my mom about all the stress I was going through with having my first pregnancy. So for a long time, I had a mom, but I lived like I didn't have a mom because my mom was struggling with what is called schizophrenia. It's a mental ailment. But my mom was not always sick. My mom was a hardworking, visionary, industrious woman. Like I went into engineering because I saw my mom in the petrochemical industry, and I was like, "Whoa, I can do amazing things, right?" But all of a sudden, I think I was still so young, and I remember waking up to this reality that my mom was gone. The strong, industrious, ever, go getter mom was nowhere to be found. Now I am a child and I am charged with the responsibility to look after my mom. No, I am not the oldest child, but I remember I have this memory as a child hitting my mom, beating her up because I wanted her to wake up. I wanted her to be my mom. I wanted so much to just be a child and not be a caregiver. So for the longest time, all I wanted was just to be a mom that was present, a mom that, is alive and well. So here I am, married to my best friend, and things were not going as planned. I am that child that everyone look at and know that you are made for big things. People tell you, you will do this, you will do this, you're great, you're this, you're that. I think I even felt a lot of pressure growing up to be perfect, to fit into an idea of how I ought to be. And so I unconsciously, I was carrying this weight of having to prove a point that I can do anything I want. I can have anything I want. I can be anything that I want, right? But here I was now, married, and we were having quarrels. Like there was a lot of disagreement. And when I say I am intentional, like I knew I knew the date. I knew um, the date we were going to marry 1 year before. It's in my journal because I had sat with this guy that is my friend and my best friend, and we had this plan. Okay, this is what we're going to do. This is when we're going to get married, and this is the kind of life that we wanted, right? And I thought that all the books I had read so many books from temperament to understanding marriage to communication. I thought that I was prepared for marriage. If you had seen me in 2018 when I was preparing to get married, there was confidence. I felt like I was going to smash this. I had built intimacy with God. So I knew that I was in that place where I was going to just do amazing in my marriage. And then it dawned on me that this reality, being in marriage, and then I remember that line, that love is blind, that marriage is the cure. And it felt like, now what? I am married. I had this conviction. I knew that I was married to the man for me. There was no doubt. He was a good man. I knew I was a good person. Like I am so loved by my in-laws, right? But what was the disconnect? What was the disconnect? I remember I would cry. So it's in my podcast. I'd shared a lot about my journey in marriage on my podcast, Everything Personal Leadership podcast. And why I had to, dwell on this aspect of my life because it became the foundation for everything that I am doing today. And because when I stumbled on my journal, I did not stumble because I'm always journaling, right? So, but this particular day, I was angry, crying. I had locked myself indoors. My husband had gone to work. Like I was not talking to him. I was frustrated. And I laid down and I was crying and praying because, like I said, I had built a relationship with God. So I knew how to pray. I knew how to lay my burden, so to speak. So this afternoon, this on that afternoon, as I was just flipping through my journals to get, a white space to start making entries for the day, I started to notice a pattern. And for the longest time, everything I had written down was all the things that I was not excited about, all the things I wished to change, all the things that, I was displeased about. And even moments that I shared that were like thrilling, that were exciting, were said in passing. So my focus had always been on everything that was not working. And then it dawned on me for the first time, maybe you are the problem. That is like, I literally had that aha moment that, Uduak, when I'm like, you can do this, I'm like, bless, you can do this. But when I want to like reboot, reconstruct my subconscious mind, I'm like, Uduak. So I'm like, Uduak, you are better than this. You worked so hard, you worked so hard to want to prepare yourself for marriage, to now be in marriage and not enjoy marriage. It was a lot. Intimacy was in the gutters. It was a lot. But on the outside, everything appeared fantastic. Right? And that is why I love to talk about mask. Man, I was so good. I was so good at wearing my mask. I was going for conferences. I would speak in conferences. I'd get people to be like, whoa, But deep down, there was a dissatisfaction. And on that day, as I was flipping through my journal, I had that aha moment. And to make, you know, to make it so real, I saw feedback forms from the last leadership conference I had attended, and I was speaking on the subject personal leadership. And I saw the feedback of people, and then I started crying. I'm like, no, I do not want to have it. I do not want to be this person. I do not want to be someone that shares a message that stimulates other people, but go back home and live in utter, discontent. And so I decided from that day that I was going to take my own pill, right? And I started to work on personal leadership. And so when I made that program, Go Get Your Man Back, it was me trying to create an awareness around that. Not all marriages are the way they are because the husband is really a terrible person. A lot of marriages are in a place where things are not working because us women, us wives, are not taking responsibility for our joy, responsibility for our wellness. It's like I have this subconscious program to expect my husband to make me happy. And what is so fascinating is the fact that even I didn't know how to make me happy. And so when I put together, before I shared the work with the Don and Mekanovis, I had put together a challenge and had invited wives together. And I had challenged them to follow, a blueprint I had created. And let's see what will happen in their marriages. And it was like I'm having goosebumps now talking about this. I remember a particular wife, her husband had even, moved away. Not like officially moving away, but he kind of said he wanted to just go look for greener pastures in another state. But the thing is, the wife's income is enough to sustain the family. But he chose to go to another state to go look for greener pastures, but he wasn't really making any headway. And he wasn't even planning to come home. So they had, excuse me, they had a situation where when he comes home, she would be, indifferent. You left me, now you're back. Okay, now what? And then he would stay 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, hardly a month, and he will go back, sometimes for months. This was not a case of him cheating on her. This was a case of a man running away from his house because he is feeling less of a man in his own house. Yes, that is not like the best reaction or the best response. But when I asked her a question, I asked her, what do you really want? Now you're left alone, taking care of your daughter. You have to answer many questions as to why daddy is not at home. And sometimes they will go weeks without even talking on the phone. This was the state of their marriage. And within 10 days of the challenge, things changed. They had deep conversations. Intimacy was restored. I think last week she sent me a message about their 7th anniversary. Things are better. And all we did was to focus, like shift focus from what he is not doing right to what are you doing wrong? To what do you want? And why do you want what you want? Remember, this is not a case of abuse. This is not a case. So People who are battered and, in their marriage, it will take a different route. But these are relationships where I had one question. Do you have a good man? And all of them claimed they had good men. And we started, with, highlighting the things they did well. And honestly, when we started listing, the list was, we could not exhaust the good traits of this man. Yet, marriages were sour. I do not consider myself a relationship or marriage coach. But here's one thing I know for sure is that change cannot happen until we change what we do on a daily basis. The results that we seek cannot come to us until we change the way we act on a daily basis. And that was how I made the transition from talking about getting your man back to habits. Because I figured, and because in that challenge, what we were doing was creating tiny habits. I introduced them to gratitude journaling. And we were writing the things that we were grateful for in our partners. I mean, it was amazing. And so I started to see, whoa, this is something that I have experienced for myself, and this is something that I can replicate. And remember that where I am coming from, I am not coming from a place where I am looking for money. I am coming from a place where I am looking for work that will fulfill me. Because I had studied electronics and communications engineering. I had done a master's in human resource management. Because while studying engineering, I discovered that this was not what I wanted. That I came here to prove a point, and I'll show you how. So there was this day I heard my father telling his friend, and they were talking about his son, his friend's son. And he told his friend that if he has a son, what he would advise that guy to do would be to study engineering, because engineering is going to change the world. The world is going, towards gearing towards technology, and the child that is better equipped to understand technology would have an advantage. And so when I heard it, it became my challenge. So my dad could not advise me because he feels that I could not do it. And I took the challenge, and I applied in a polytechnic, and I studied electronics and electrical and electronics engineering. And while I was doing my ND, we had a case. I was the assistant classroom. We had a case where our results felt like it was tempered. And all my classmates came to me, and I was like the voice for the class. And I had to table a petition. I wrote to the management that we and the two electrical students are asking for our results. We need our papers. We wanted to see our papers. And I got into trouble for that. And then I went back to my journal. At this point, I think I was 18. Because in ND2, I was 18. I went back to my journal and I wrote it down that I was going to continue my education outside this country. Like, I'm tired of a system that does not give us a fair chance to thrive, right? And I wrote it down, and the opportunities came. And before you know it, I was in another country, and I was pursuing electronics and communication engineering. This is me being in India. And in any electrical EE students might remember the textbook called Taraja. So I'm in India, the home of Taraja, that textbook. And I'm seeing Taraja everywhere. And I'm like, wow, it felt so surreal to be in an environment where you're now interacting with guys that, like, authors of a text that you've been studying all through. And one day I'm in class and I discovered that I was in the wrong class. I knew that I wanted to, I wanted, I wanted to interact with people. I wanted to be around people. I hated, just being around screen. I love contact. Like I love to have conversations one on one, all of that. So I knew that I could not work um in system design and all those avionics and all of that. And that was why I took a master's in human resource management. The idea was that I could do trainings because I've always loved, just having trainings, sharing ideas that would help people get better. And yeah, so that's my journey. And it has taken me a lot of courage to be able to be this person. I've had to say no to a lot of things to be able to be in a place where I can say, this is the life that I want, and I want to create more of this. So today I am an author, and yes, the first book I ever authored, because more books are in the pipeline, is Feed Your Attitude with Gratitude Journal. And for me, because of the impact gratitude journaling had on me, and I discovered I was struggling with consistency. So I thought about creating a journal where I can be able to, journal consistently because there's a template that makes it easy. And so that was how I created a gratitude journal, did a pre-order, got people to, pre-order, and I published the first batch, sold it out, and it's been more than 1 year of intentional living, like of practicing gratitude. Gratitude journaling is one form of intentional living. There's meditation, there's a lot of things that you can do to be intentional, right? So, but gratitude journaling is something that brings you in the moment. And before I hand over to the Dawn to to just ask any other thing you may want to ask, I like to say that when I got a mail in asking to select a date for this live, when I got that date, I was trembling. I was trembling. I was like, no, June is so soon. Maybe I should push it to July. I was in that place where I was panicking, like, no, like I have this real opportunity to have a conversation with the God. I better not mess it up, right? Because if he invites me and I come and I stutter and I, just deliver a poor conversation or whatever, like it would look bad and it could ruin other chances. Yeah. So for me, this was like, this is one opportunity that I do not want to mess up, right? So I was in that place where I could not decide on a date. And I sat there and I started thinking, what do I need? Oh, maybe I need a free lead magnet to get all the people that will come live to come to me. I was literally running wild. First day, I did not pick a date. The second day, before I saw the reminder email, no, before the reminder email came, I had taken time out and I had sat down to understand, and I had to ask myself, what does this mean? What does showing up to have a conversation with the Dawn, what does it mean? What do I really want? And if I need to like shift the date of having this conversation, like why would I shift it? Is it because it is going to bring me closer to what I want? Or it is because I am running away out of fear, thinking that more time would give me room to be prepared? And it reminds me of a quote that since I stumbled in that quote, since I stumbled on that quote, I've never stopped examining my motives, my why. And Socrates said, an unexamined life is not worth living. And most times we act based on our subconscious, and unconsciously what we think we are, preparation becomes a form of procrastination. And because deep down you think that you're not good enough, and that's why you feel the need to want to practice, right? And because I know I have always had a struggle with perfection, and it is always a mess, right? Because there is perfection is only an illusion. And I just sat down and I examined why. And then it reminds me of another favorite quote that I love by Carl Jung. He said, if you let the unconscious, that until until you make the subconscious conscious, sorry, I take that again, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. So I would have assumed that I was preparing, but deep down I was feeling insecure, feeling like this is the dawn, and compared to the dawn I am like nobody, right? And but as I flipped through my journal and I saw the things that I am grateful for, the things, the miracles that I have co-created, like I found the confidence to put the 20 here, press the button, and I said, whatever happens on the 20th, I'm going to show up. And another thing that I learned and has helped me is to define what is enough. And so as I picked my dates, I told myself, this is what I said to myself. If no one show up for this life, if no other person gets to see this life, having this conversation with the dawn would have been fulfilling. So because I have now narrow success to what is possible, I found the confidence to show up and show up with smiles, looking like I was not panicking. Man, I was like, I was trembling literally before coming up here. But I knew what is enough for me. It is enough that I get to share this prestigious platform and just be able to have conversation with a leader that I admire, a conversation with someone I consider to be on the top of his game. And if I am able to do this right, I am hoping to see that a collaboration comes up. But what is enough is that I show up with a smile, show up on time, and that I show up with authenticity. I am not trying to sell a message that I am not living, right? So it is easy for me to tell you this because this is my reality. That I can wake up today and say that I am going to have a good day, and I will actually have a good day because I understand what is enough for me. I have taken, I now define what success is for me. And because the definition I have in my head is not what you have in your head, it's not the opinion of people who do not know me, right? So it becomes easy for me to show up in my best self, right? Maybe it will be enough. Maybe it might just be enough for one person. But I hope that when someone, encounters this life, they get to understand that miracle is not something that is outside of you. Miracle is something that you bring to whatever circumstances that you're in. And I believe that we all have the power to create miracles. Thank you so much, Don, yeah. Don, are you
Ayo,
there?
I am. I want to tell you something right now. So you remember I said that I was going to have collaborations with people regarding authoring books, and I'm just sitting back here and I'm listening to you. And this is just to tell you that remember I said that when we go live and we have this conversation, I am watching, I am taking notes, I am sensing your spirit. So this is me telling you that I have decided now to have a collaboration with you to author a book, and well, in my head, the title of the book I'm thinking is that stupid people hate habits. So this is just the title in my head. All right, so we can work on it to rejig the title and all that. 20,000 words will not be bad. 10,000 words from you, for 10,000 words from me. So now I am going to have this collaboration with you because I think that what you've got at a story is something that a lot of individuals would
I am
definitely.
honored.
So I'm working on a book now with Nnamdi Ibe, to be released before August. But I'm going to send to you. I'm going to have a chat with you so that we can drop a deadline on how we can work on this. So I think
I
the
am
issue of
so
habit
honored.
the issue of habit is something that a lot of individuals need to really imbibe. So I know that my life has been a result of the habits that I've kept, habits that help me to build my brand, to be hardworking, to be able to create content every day. So I think it's something that we should, think about. So I don't know what to think about the title. Stupid people hate habits. That's just the title that came into my head. You know the kind of way that I write my titles, right? Okay, so we'll talk about that, in conversation. So thank you so much for sharing this part of your life. So in when we're about to go live, we talked about you said something about habit becoming the next break of your life. Okay, so I just want you to throw a little bit of light on that. The consequences of having habits. Let's look at that for individuals who are tuned in now. The consequences of having the right kinds of habits. Regarding a life, regarding your relationship, regarding work, and all that. So because when I started out learning what we call neuro linguistic programming, right? Um, we heard there was something we learned. We learned that how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you see someone who's perpetually going late to events, the
Mhm.
individual also goes late to school, goes late to his work, comes late doing assignments and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to share with us, regarding habits, and the consequences. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm not going to act like I am not excited about a collaboration. Like I am honored. It will be an honor, to co-author a book with you, the Don. And yes, I look forward to that. The thing is, when we talk about habits, what most of us are not aware of is that we already have habits. We already have habits. Like there is a way. Some people have a particular chair they sit in the house. Like you just go to your living room, you sit there. There are things we do. For some people, you wake up every morning. The first thing you do, the first thing you do is pick up your phone. Maybe you check the time, you turn off your alarm. It is habit. Habit is literally actions that have been repeated so much so that it has become automatic. Some of us have habits of talking ourselves down, right? Oh no, this is not for me. I'll tell you a story. For 5 years, I was in India, and I never, let me say, for almost 5 years, I was in India, and I never ate the famous Indian biryani. Because to me, I felt like there was lots of garlic, and I never tasted garlic. But I never, so I rejected biryani. But on this day, my mentor calls me. She's a Kenyan, and she calls me to tell me someone is coming from Kenya, and if a couple will be coming from Kenya, and they are scheduled for a heart surgery. She would like, since I am in the same city, to go check up on them, pray with them, just see how I could help since I've been around that city. And so I went. It I went there and I'd go visit. Sometimes I'll make vegetable soups. All what I was cooking was for the wife who was the caregiver. So on this day, surgery was successful. They were ready to go back to Kenya, and I I came to see them, bid them farewell, and then go back. As I was leaving this hospital, a young nurse, beautiful lady, comes up to me and she's like, "Hi, what is your name?" you know? And I was like, "I'm Blessing." And she was like, "Oh, Blessing, I like you." I'm like, "Thank you." She was like, "I want you to follow me to my native." That is how they describe their village. I'm like, "Okay." I like, "Okay, take my number, call me, and then we can plan, we'll travel." This is me. All my roommates know I I do not eat Indian food. I cook my food. And but here I was committing to travel with someone to her village, right? And guess what? Less than 1 week later, she calls me up and she says that I've booked our tickets and we are ready to travel tomorrow, 2 p.m. So I'm like, okay. I packed my bag, not knowing what I was going to eat for the next few days. And off I was in a bus with a total stranger, someone I met just once. And I was in the village with this family and this entire family. The reception I received, it felt like a god had literally come to town. And these guys welcomed me with so much love, so much love. It's hard to tell the story and not, you know, be emotional. And I remember everyone, these were not people that had lots of money. It was not it was not because they had money. They literally everyone slept on the floor. Grandma, grandma was sleeping on the floor so that I could sleep on the family bed. I told her, no, in Nigeria, elderly people don't leave the seat for a child. Instead, a child volunteers their seat for an adult. No, we don't do that. They refused it. And I stayed. I thought I would stay for 2 days, but I stayed 7 days in that land, in that village. And when I was leaving that village, I had tears in my eyes because love became tangible. I knew then that love itself is a language. These guys do not speak English. These guys do not speak the native language in the city that I met their daughter. But I spent days in an environment with people that showed me love. And I ate biryani for the first time. There were things I ate and I threw up, and they brought it again and I ate. And as I looked back, though today I eat garlic, I cook with garlic. I literally will cook my afan soup with garlic. And maybe that is against a bomb, cooking um, etiquette or whatever it's called in. But that habit, one habit I had formed was never to dismiss an opportunity that offers me connection. So if you ask me, can I see you tomorrow? I'd say yes. and then I'll pray that you're not a killer. But it is just something that I have done so much, that I am so good at it, that till today I've never had a meeting with a stranger that left me with a sour memory. And what I am trying to say is that we all have habits, and those habits are either propelling people towards us, or sending people away. You either have habits that makes people want to keep you in their lives or not. See, it is not a question of do you have habits. It is a question of, are your habits empowering the desires that you want? Are your habits in alignment with the goals that you want to achieve? I am currently working on a book that I believe is, if everyone mastered this, they would make the most of their life, right? And when I say everyone, I'm not talking about everyone now. In context, let me just put it. If you are in a place where you feel like you're stuck and you want to move to the next level, then you need to be able to learn how to overcome the barriers of communication. And it is simple. Master the habit of asking to receive, asking and receiving. I've seen a lot of ladies who are complaining about their husbands, complaining about their partners, who do not even know how to receive love, because you've built habits that have that have over time built a wall. And these things that you say you desire, they cannot come to you because you do not have habits to bring them into your life. And for some people, they are so good at building connections that they do not understand the habits of keeping those connections. I have one friend, and this friend is miles away. The last time we were in the same city was when we were studying together in India. And it's been how many years we've been apart? But we've become best friends over time. And that relationship had opened us to a lot of opportunity. It has brought a lot of ease into our lives. Like, I cannot talk about my story without talking about Jubilee Okoro. She should be here. She should be here, but she's at work, and I'm sure she would catch the replay. But when we sat down together and we talked about, she was preparing to leave the country, and I went to see her. And when my dad heard that I was in Lagos to see my friend, he was like, wow, this is your friendship. Because a lot of people think that when you get married, she's single and married, automatically your relationships go sour. It is not the marriage that goes sour. It is the habits that we build around our relationships that will determine if that relationship will thrive or not. So today, there is, if her phone goes off and then I have a number in the UK that I would call to be able to connect with my friend. See, every day today, my son every day knows that he has a godmother, and he sends her a voice note every day. And in that voice note, he would say things like, I love you, Mama, I miss you. Habits. One day, there's this voice note he sent, and all of us were like, whoa. He was so excited. He was saying many things. Mama, I love you. I cherish you. All of those things. And it just dawned on me. You see that simple habit of just showing picture. This is your Mama. Talk to Mama. Have you said good morning to Mama? That simple habit, that simple routine has now become something that when he's with his dad's phone, he sees Mama's picture, he knows to send her voice note. So one time her phone went bad, And we're now communicating via Telegram with her laptop. And so I told my son, he's 2 years plus, and I said, your G Mama is not going to be available here, which is WhatsApp. This is where she would be available, Telegram. And to my amazement, he was with my phone, it was unlocked. He went to that, her photo was not there. He went there, he had seen it. The kids have retentive memory, and sometimes we underestimate, all those things. And he went there, sent a message to his Jiwa communication. And why I'm saying all of this is that because of how we've been programmed, there's a lot of, you've been told a lot of things about asking. The Bible says it's more blessed to give than to receive. So a lot of us do not know that we are not we are stopping ourselves from receiving the breakthroughs that we want. And I know this because when I sit in a conversation with someone, I know if they are ready for what they want. Today, I have an opportunity to have a conversation with the Don, and that one opportunity is leading to co-authoring a book. It is not an accident. I had to embody my message, to be able to have the confidence to come here and share it. And that's because I believe so much. I believe so much that what I know, what I have experienced, has the power to change other people's lives. But I had to be the beneficiary of my own success first. So today, the conversation is not if you have habits or if you should, build the right habit. The question is, what do you want? Are you truly prepared to receive what you want? And if you are, the question is, do you have the right habit to be able to attract the opportunities to you and to be able to keep them? This June, I am like, at the end, I'm literally going to be ending June in a fast because I am still trying to recover from the opportunities that are being presented to me. Oh, my friend Jubilee Okoro is here. That have been presented to me, and all that all they kept saying is, over the years you've been consistent. Over the years, I have my mentor we've not seen for years, and I have the opportunity to be, having a conversation with her. And last year, June, I remember going to my kitchen and preparing delicious meal because we had just received a report that she was cancer free. It was a tough battle. And I remember sitting when I got a message that someone I had spoken to in October, and we had created this routine. And I told her that I'd love us to have one session a month where we get to talk. I get to know what's up with her. She gets to know what's up with me. The kind of mentorship relationship that we have is not one where she's teaching me anything new, but she's just open to share her journey with me. And for me, that's more than enough. Because when I sit with a leader and hear them talk, there are just because I have trained myself to listen, there's so much. Today, the dawn is, I sent him a mail and I told him, I'm like, you have a phenomenal way of going around people. Do you know how I felt picking up the phone and hearing, hey, Uduak, this is Emeka Nobis. That, like, like, I don't know how long it will take me to recover. But that's something he does so well. And even when he responds to you, when you send him a message, he calls your name. Hey, Eyo. Hey, blessing. These are habits. These are things that makes him. You don't forget the door and Emeka Nobis in a hurry if you've had one interactions with him. And so when I received the message that my mentor between October and December has been diagnosed with cancer, and it was critical. I remember sitting, panicking, and I'm like, God, is this the end? And it dawned on me that I was not really ready to lose her. We had such a unique relationship, and I wanted our relationship. And over the years, I tried as much as possible to stay in touch, but now she was battling with cancer. I do not have funds to be able to transfer and say, please, you know how expensive cancer treatments are. And I sat down and I thought about, if I was in the same city with her, I could take care of the kids. I could cook for the family, just help. There was something I could do. And I sat down and I thought about, what can I do over the distance? I was panicking, and then it dawned on me. You can pray, you can start a gratitude challenge and trust God for her healing. And I was like, God, yes, I am going to start 21 days challenge, but what if she doesn't make it? It was critical. What if she doesn't make it? How would I feel coming up publicly, soliciting for prayers, and asking other people to join me in faith? How? My faith, am I prepared for such public? What would be the speech? And then it dawned on me that I am just focused on myself. I am thinking about how it makes me feel. Oh, I'll come out and ask for prayers. But when I shifted my focus to my mentor and just being able to express love over the distance through the gift of technology that we have, I was able to just move past thinking about if I should start to getting started. And I started a 21 days gratitude challenge. And I'd wake up. I believe something, that there is a miracle currently happening. And if I am to use the lenses of gratitude, it will expand. And I remember the first time I heard this, what you appreciate. So what you appreciate, what you're grateful for, you multiply those things. And as I did one, I said out saying, I'm grateful that she's in the right environment. She's in Canada, where the system works, where they were able to diagnose this on time. I am grateful. The next day, I was grateful for her husband. The next day, I was grateful. And by day 5, it felt like I had exhausted what was physically um, obvious to me to be grateful for. But as I challenged myself each day to show up with gratitude, the miracles started happening. She lost her voice. The next thing she could talk. And I had the opportunity to be with her over Zoom. And I would sit in her presence and I would look at her struggle to go pee. I'd look at her and I'll stand in awe of that moment, not knowing if this will be the last, but just fully present and just fully engaging and just making the most. At least I wanted her to know. I remember the first time I saw her and I looked at her. I just told her, I said, Pastor K, fight. Her name is Karina. I said, Pastor K, I call her Pastor K. I said, Pastor K, fight. You can do this. Fight. Don't give in. Fight. We're praying for you. We're raising prayers. Fight. And she looked at me and she nodded. She nodded. She couldn't talk. And one by one, the miracles came. Before long, she was singing. She was playing her guitar. And 6 months later, she she was declared cancer free. And just because I have the habit of checking in on her to know how she's doing, checking in on her, even although we are separated by distance. There was a time that I heard a news that was wrecking, and I was chatting her middle of the night, and I was like I'm feeling suicide. Is it impossible to be a Christian and to be a public figure? Is it impossible to lead with authenticity? And she was telling me, and I remember us, just having that chat. And because of that habit of showing up and just having conversations, I was able to be part of her healing journey. And our relationship has moved to another level because of that. And I know there are a lot of people that have beautiful relationships that can catapult them to the next level, but they don't even know how to communicate. They don't even know what to ask from a relationship and what not to ask. They show up, you treat your relationships trivial. You have an opportunity to hold conversation with a dignitary, and you're asking for something that is not possible to give. It's not possible for you to get at the level where you are because you do not know what to ask for. And so if you ask me, what is one thing that anyone can focus on and can change things for them? It is the ability to overcome communication barrier by learning to master the habit of asking and receiving. So the question is not about if you should be building habits. The question is, how much do you want the life that you desire? If you say you want to get married to a loving partner, how much do you want that? Because if you really want to marry a loving partner, you shouldn't be having late calls with someone that laughs and calls you foolish, that laughs and use derogatory statements at you, with someone that does not respect your time, with someone that thinks he does you favors to be in your life. The question is, what you say you want, how much do you want that? And do you have the habit to get that which you want? So yes, you done? Yeah.
Eyo, you really want me to start crying over here that I am, but I refuse to cry. Thank you so much for this fantastic conversation we have today. I mean, this conversation was solemn in its essence. It was deep. It was intellectual. It was. I mean, thank you so much for this conversation. That's all I can say. And I'm very glad we've done an hour, 4 minutes so far, and it's been very fantastic. And I believe that those who watch this conversation must have gained some great value. And I know that those who will also watch our replays on all the various channels we are streaming right now to 4 different channels of mine, I know that those who will also watch the replay will definitely get get inspired to do amazing stuff. So I would like us to end this conversation in the next 5 minutes. Please tell us how to reach you, Eyo. Tell us what you are working on, what you're working on currently, and how we can be part of what you're working currently. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much again. Thank you so much. And I am so honored to be having this conversation. I love conversations. I believe that the conversations that we have the power to change our lives. And that is why I am looking forward to having women together. And I am still, and I want to start out with wives because I understand the pain that they feel, the dissatisfactions that they feel, and the frustration to ask and not receive from their significant other. So yes, so there's a boot camp that I am going to be that I am going to launch in August, and I hope that if you are married and you're watching this, um, you should follow me on Facebook, Eyo Uduak Blessing. I am currently active on Facebook and LinkedIn. Yeah, in LinkedIn, I'm just starting out baby steps, right? So, yes, but this is for everybody, and that is the breaking communication barrier. Everyone needs to master, especially everyone needs to master the habit of asking and receiving. And so that's a book that I am halfway through. And soon I'll be sharing channels with which you can join the wait list, you can pre order. All right. And so, what is most important right now is that you follow me and that you go check out my podcast. And yeah, it has always, because of my love for conversation, I have created a podcast so that I'll be able to have other people join me in conversations so that we can have conversations that are empowering, because I believe that the conversations we have the potential to change, our world. And so Everything Personal Leadership Podcast is a place where you get challenged about cultivating the habit of personal leadership. Because I never used to think of personal leadership as a habit until I saw it as one of the habits of highly effective people. And in that podcast, I usually have a series that is tagged Wholesome Wives series. So I have conversations with wives. We talk about their journey. And yes, and I'm trusting that after today, more people will be able to, you know, find Everything Personal Leadership Podcast. So for today, you can follow me and you can go to Everything Personal Leadership Podcast. I'll put the link after this, underneath the live. You can easily click and go check uh, my podcast. I just started. So, yes. So a book is coming, and stay stay glued to my timeline together. But if you want to work with me one on one, and yes, I haven't put up a course because I had to understand that I love one on one interactions, and just putting up a course, making people go, was not giving me that satisfaction. So, what I do now for coaching is one on one. And if you would like to book a discovery call, let's know where you're at in your journey, what habits you need to be building, and all of those things. Just again, you just need to click on the I'll drop the link where you can, connect with me straight, and we can book a schedule where we talk about you and what you where you're at and what you need doing now. It is crucial. Focus is important. There, if you misappropriate focus, you will be frustrated on your journey, to a better you. I have a statement that I usually would see on my timeline. Everything connected to you gets better when you get better. And if you want to get better, it is important that you know what to focus on. I know a lot of people are frustrated that they do not have enough money and all of that. And focusing on just sharpening a skill and not building the habits that would help you get the results that you seek in your business is not the smartest strategy. So, yes, you can go on my timeline, see links to be able to connect with me personally. And yes, we can book a discovery call, and we will talk about where you're at in your journey. In that 1 hour, you will find clarity as to what you need to focus on right now to be able to get the results that you seek. So thank you so much. It's been an honor. You've watched to this point. I am grateful. And yes, I look forward to seeing you on my timeline. And we are at the dog timeline. So I look forward to seeing you on my timeline. Let me know that you've seen the replay, you've joined the live, and let's connect. I am open for collaborations. I am open for speaking engagements. I love that's an aspect that I've not been monetizing actively. So, but I'm in a place where I am now ready to show up as a speaker in your conference, marriage conferences, leadership conferences, and business conferences, because the results you need for your business requires habits. So thank you so much, Don, for having me. I am honored. I am grateful. And this means so much to me. I am honored to be here. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Eyo. I look forward to our collaboration, our work. And I'm also thinking we could, when the book, when we can launch the book with, I'm looking at 2024 because right now I'm working on a book, Shameless Marketing for 2024. But my collaborations, I'm looking at having these collaborations for 2024. So we can do the launch with a conference or a summit, whichever. Oh no. So let's make that happen. So thank you so much for this great conversation we had this morning. Please share with us at 10:30 a.m. We also have another lady who's going to be sharing with me here in the conversation how to build a social media management business. So guys, you can tune in and also understand that how you can build that business if you really want to do that and make money for yourself. So thank you everyone. God bless you and thank you for tuning in. See you in other conversations. Hey, y'all, we'll talk back in 2 hours time. Right? Take care of yourself. Goodbye.
Bye.